Have you ever heard the phrase MLM has a stigma attached to it? I have in over 20 countries. We're going to talk about where it comes from and how to alleviate it in today's episode. Greetings, my fellow network marketing friend, Todd Falcone here. Welcome back to another episode. I've spoken in over 30 countries, which is super cool, by the way, being able to travel the world and get paid to do it. It's pretty awesome. I have been on stages in over 20 of those countries, and I have been on the platform, on the stage, and I mean, Europe, Asia, Central and South America, Australia, South Africa, all over the place. And I've been on these stages, and during the training, I'm like, hey, and it just I make this come up on purpose because it's a lesson that I'm teaching, and I'll go, MLM has a blank attached to it, and without fail, without exception, in all of those countries, they can come up with the same exact word, and that word is stigma. I still, to this date, have not chat GPT'd it or Googled it. But in terms of like what does Webster say that a stigma is? But my visual on that, and I'm going to be gross for a second. To me, a stigma is like this big, fat, seeping, pussy wart on your face or some growth. I know I told you I was going to be gross. So I know, whatever. So what you're saying then, what you're telling me, Mr. Prospect, is that the thing that I've made my career choice for the last 3.5 decades is a big, fat, seeping, pussy wart. Honestly, that kind of pisses me off. It pisses me off that people have an opinion about network marketing that's negative. And, look, there's not clearly not everybody has that opinion. Most of you guys that are probably watching me love network marketing, but you're going to deal with people that don't get it, don't care to get it, don't understand it, are ignorant, know nothing about it. Unfortunately, people are down on things that they're not up on. In other words, they'll pee all over something, but they don't really know anything about it, which is pretty common. And then there's people that think they know what it is, but they really don't. Like when somebody asks you, is this a pyramid? Which is I have not gotten that question in years. I mean, obviously as a speaker, you don't get it, but even building, I wasn't getting it because I'm not thinking, oh gosh, is somebody going to ask me, is this a pyramid? Because what you think about, you bring about. If you keep thinking, is somebody going to ask me? I worked with this woman in Canada, man. I remember working with her. And she was always getting, is this a pyramid? I'm like, do you ever think about that? And she's like, oh my gosh, that's all I think about. And all she was getting was, is this a pyramid? Is this a pyramid? But the truth is, anybody who asks that question, like, this is a pyramid or this sounds like a pyramid, they don't know the difference between a legitimate network marketing play and a pyramid money game, money scheme. They don't know the difference. They just think, oh, if you build a team and you got to recruit people, it's so maybe they think they know what it is, but what I've found is most of them really don't know what it is. Because, if we're looking at, a legal definition of a pyramid versus a legitimate network marketing distribution company, they're quite different. There may be some similarities in terms of people who get people, but they're not the same. In a legitimate network marketing company, you're only paid through the movement of goods and services through a distributor organization. You're not paid for recruiting. You're not paid for air. There has to be movement of whatever it is that you're selling in order to get paid. That's why regulators are pretty tight with what we do here, because they don't, there's definitely people that don't abide by the rules. And so the question is, where does this stigma come from? And how do we address it? Like, honestly, I dream of a day when we've gotten rid of and I don't think it's a dream of mine. I don't think it'll ever happen because there's just always bad people out there. There's people who don't care to care. And, I do think, however, we can eliminate that substantially or reduce it substantially in the ways that we act in the marketplace. So you got to ask yourself, like, where does it come from? And, depending on when you're catching this is kind of in the midst of the holidays. And I'll give you an example. So this time of the year, let's say you're a network marketer, maybe not a well-trained one, maybe you haven't been plugged into me or anybody else for that matter, and you kind of don't know what the hell you're doing, and you're excited and you're pumped up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be rich. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen since sliced bread. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to make so much freaking money. This is awesome. And you can't shut up about it. So you're going to every holiday party and family occasion, and you're bringing your box of goods with you and your DVDs and your CDs and your I don't know, your DNA swabs and your pee in a cup things, or your, snort this, lick this, mix this, sample this, drink this. I don't, whatever it is, right? A bunch of different companies there, right? And you show up for these parties, and perhaps some of these people you already exposed Uncle Bob to it, and Uncle Bob's like, I ain't doing one of those things, Todd. Stay away from me. I'm gonna. And you're like, but well, Uncle Bob, you're at the Christmas party. Uncle Bob, don't you see it yet, man? We're gonna be so rich. Blah 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 blah. Blah. And you can't shut up about it. People that, look, there's more to you than your network marketing business. And so, these holiday parties that you're going to and you're seeing people, yeah, it's cool that you have a network marketing business, but you need to work on your skills, man. If you're out there just trying to, you're like, you're on the pounce, you're on the attack everywhere you go, is just bad for business. And it's bad for the image of network marketing. So these overzealous, untrained people that are out there just not being able to shut their freaking mouth, and they're pushing people away, and they're making people, God, man, these freaking network marketers, they're just awful. And so they had a bad experience with one person, and the next person that brings it to them, like, hell no, I'm not touching that. They don't want to have anything to do with it because their only exposure is whatever they had, and it wasn't a good one. So that's most certainly a reason why it has a quote stigma attached to it. So what can you do about it? Well, you can become educated and become trained and become skilled and work this as a professional. I got tons of friends in the business. I got tons of friends out of the business. And none of those people come up to me like, oh my gosh, Todd, get away, stay away. I need garlic around my neck. Yeah, ward you away. It's just like, it's foolishness. And I can be at a party and, never even bring it up. I mean, if it organically comes up, or I, bring it up in the way in the way a professional would bring it up, then cool. And if you want to learn to be I got tons of training where you never have to deal with this stuff ever again. You can be a true professional at this business, and they're all on my website, toddfalcone.com. Take your pick. I've been producing training programs to help people figure this game out for 20 years. Okay. So the overzealous person, then there's the jumper and the hopper, and they go into this one. And look, I get it. Most of you probably that are even watching me have done more than one thing. I have. I mean, it would be great if we could find one thing, build it into eternity, drive off into the sunset with our residual income. But it doesn't work that way for most people. Most companies don't survive long enough. There's cycles, there's economic things that go on. There's all sorts of things that can affect an organizational size and the longevity of a company. So there's a lot of things that now I get it. We want to be there forever. Of course. I mean, most people do. Not everybody, but most people are trying to find something and land in and like sink their teeth into and go, go, go. And it's hard enough building one network marketing organization, let alone having to go do it again. Not technically hard, but hard work. So this whole idea of, jumping from company to company to company, like, I was having I was in, where was I? I was in the Dominican Republic with Jordan Adler. And I'll never forget this. I was there for I think it was his 60th birthday. And we're all hanging out. And like this, I mean, Jordan had made a fortune by this time. I've known him for about just over 20 years. And I was like, Jordan, I'm like, man, you never quit. And he's like, wrong, Todd. He goes, I always quit. Cause like, if you've ever seen him on stage, he always talks about how he was with like 11 companies. He's got the big stack, this like giant necklace of credit cards that he used. And like the first 10 or 11, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 companies, he didn't make a dime. And then he goes on to his first company, made millions, and the company has been for 20 years, made another millions. And so we actually ended up doing a video while we were down in Costa Rica about that because that's what he did. He would be there for at a place for 3 months and then bail, and then 2 months and bail, and then 6 months and bail, or a week and bail. I mean, how many, like, have you ever done that? Like, I know a guy right now that, and I'm praying for him that he will actually settle in. It's the longest I've seen him settle in because he's been in the last 2, 3 years, he's been in at least 20 companies. I mean, like, I get it. Sometimes we need to date a little bit, but and it's interesting because I'll look back at some of these people that are notorious jumper hopper people, and the last 8 companies that they were in are great companies, but they are on to the next one. And so when you're that person, and then this is where that term the NFL club comes up, right? Now I'm not talking about National Football League, the no friends left club, which is a stupid club to belong to. I like having friends. You become part of the NFL because you go here, oh, this one's awesome, and then this one's awesome, and then this one's amazing, and then no, this one, no, this one, no, that one, no, this one, that one, and it's never ending. Then you become a red button person on their phone. You know when you got your phone rings and there's these 2 buttons, you got the green one and the red one. The green one is take the call, the red one is you ignore the call. That's how you become a red button person. You don't want to be a red button person. And so that, what image does that create? That creates this image of like, oh, network marketing doesn't work for all the people that were exposed to it by the jumper person. So it's not like this stuff's not on the news, you guys. It's not like they're hearing stuff on the news about multi-level marketing, network marketing, bad. It's their experiences with independent distributors in the field that do it unprofessionally and they're untrained. And so the overzealous person is one reason. The jumper is another reason, big one, because there's a lot of jumpers out there. I mean, find something, plant your flag, lock in, and get your butt to work, and pray that the company lasts. And if they do, cool. If they don't, well, you had a 3 to 5 year run or whatever your run was, and because you developed the skills, because you plugged into somebody like me, and you now know how to do it, you got the skill sets, you got the work ethic, you get it, then you can go do it again. And you won't be like this one-shot wonder that lucked out because you recruited your Uncle Ted, I guess, in this example, and Uncle Ted recruited Sandy, I don't know, Sandy, Moneymaker Sandy, and Sandy put 12,000 people on your team, and you still don't even know how to recruit, but you made a bunch of money. I have friends like that. I have people that have no clue how to really do network marketing, and they lucked out. So some people get lucky. Most people, it's not luck. Honestly, if I look back at my career, I've had mediocre luck. It's all been just sweat equity. And that's fine. Maybe that's what God intended for me, and that's cool. And then, or the person that just hobbies it, and their friends know they've been in this thing for a while. I'm like, how's your thing doing? And that's another thing. You hang out for a little while, and you're just kind of hanging out. You're like a bobber out in the ocean. You're a little cork floating around the ocean, but you're not really doing anything. Or you're taking a nap on the sidelines. You're a bench warmer. But you're in this business, and you've been in this business for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and your friends know you still got a job at the local, hardware store, and you're doing this thing. They don't think it works because you never worked it. You know how many of those people I know? What impression do you think that's giving to all the people that know that you're in a network marketing business, but you ain't making a damn dime? You're not making anything because you ain't doing nothing. And if that's you that I'm talking to, good. I hope you hear it. And those of you that, I'll say this, I won't say lastly, but close to lastly, sometimes we're with people, sometimes underneath the same roof, and men are the worst with this because women dominate the world. Okay. Ladies, you own the world. Okay. And they most certainly dominate the network marketing and direct sales profession. Over 70% of the people that are involved in this space are female. And, so you got the dude at home. Let's say the dude is the breadwinner, the primary breadwinner in the family. And don't get all pissed off at me and be like, oh, well, wait. Dude, I'm just giving you an example. Okay. The man in this case is a primary breadwinner. He's the career guy. You had kids, and that is a career. My wife hasn't had to work for anybody or work at all since we had our children. She wanted to stay home with the kids. She stayed home with the kids, and what a blessing that's been, right? Now they're grown up and off to college. But now, like if you're a female, because I will say female because most of the time it doesn't work this way very often. It's most often the woman finds a network marketing business. She's doing the network marketing business because she wants to create, she sees her husband go to work 12 hours a day and she knows how the bills are. She feels the stresses and the financial stresses in the household. And she, somehow gets introduced to network marketing and then begins to pursue it. But the damn husband, don't be this husband, is like, well, you can play with your little play game, whatever you're doing, your little MLM thing. I'm going to give you like 90 days on the credit card to get it going. And if you don't do it, and then they do the guilt trip crap. You're prospecting, you're building this business to really free up your husband because you love your husband, you love the man. And he's like guilt tripping you. Oh, why are you upstairs in your office when you should be like, rubbing my feet or I don't know, whatever, just the guilt trip crap. And I'm just telling you, I promise you, there's going to be some women that are dealing with this right now that are watching me. And that's a very unfortunate situation to be in. It's quite unfortunate. And I will say there are two avenues, and this is a little bit off the subject of stigma for sure, but it just kind of came up, so I want to bring this up. You got two options. Option one is bust your tail and get to work and don't hobby it. That's how I guess that's how I kind of thought about this story. Don't dilly dally, like get in there and like just go make some money and go make it and go make it big and go make it fast. Because unfortunately, he's giving you like such a short runway. You should take advantage of that runway as best you can. And the funny thing is, you start making 30 grand a month and you drag your husband to it. He's gonna like take credit for it. Like, oh yeah, it's be standing up on stage getting the award. Like, yeah, it's Todd. And even if let's say Carla's my wife, and let's say she was the one that built it, and I haven't done anything at all. In fact, I guilt tripped her in the beginning. I did not do this, but let's say this was the case. And Carla is like, invites me to the national conference. She's gonna get some award for super presidential diamond, I don't know, whatever. And then I'm like, well, is my name on that too? My name should be on there. It should be not, but make sure it's not Carla and Todd. It should be Todd and Carla. And I'm like strolling up on the stage, acting all cool, smiling at the 10,000 people, acting like I did something when I didn't do a damn thing. I'm just warning you that may happen. I've seen that happen too many times to count. So option one is go bust it. Okay. Option two is, I mean, honestly, and this doesn't work as much as busting it, but like have a sit down and say, honey, look, I love you. You're the most important human being in my life other than our children. And I'm doing this for us. I see you coming home, you're stressed out all the time, you're working all the time. And I really see this. And I would really be appreciative if you would just support me. You don't have to do this with me, but just, be the supporting husband and encourage me. And that ain't going to work all the time. It may work, but that's an option for you. Option one is the option. Go bust your tail. Go make it happen. Go make it big. And I'll just say this. Well, I won't say it. I'll leave it there. I don't want to go too down the rabbit hole. So bottom line, if we want to change the perception of network marketing, we got to up the level of professionalism. If you're running teams, you should be, doing more than surface level training for your organizations. More now, granted, ABC 1, 2, 3, the basics, fundamentals, super important, but you need to dig deeper into the kind of education that you're providing your reps so that you're really raising the standard of how people operate and function in this business so that you're really, you're creating real, true professionals. And if you don't want to do that, like that level of training, bring me in. I'll come in and I'll do it. I've had companies bring me in on retainer. In fact, that's my preference rather than coming in and like one shot wonder Todd for a 90-minute keynote. I'm fine with that, but bring me over for 6 months or a year and, we can definitely move the needle. And I'm talking to owners too. If it's an owner watching me, I'm available on retainer. So I don't normally get distributors that bring me on retainer, but I do have leaders in the field that use me regularly. And it's also kind of cool because it's an outside voice that's speaking to the team. And we all know, I don't know where this phrase comes from necessarily, but it's used. You can't really be a prophet in your own backyard, maybe for a little while, but they keep hearing your voice over and over again. And it's so funny because I could come there and say the exact same thing. I mean, even if I did it word for word, the same thing that you always do with your team. And then they're all coming back to you like, did you hear what Todd said? Oh my gosh, that was so enlightening. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I say that every single week. It's just coming from a different voice, right? So if we want to reduce the stigma, then we level up the professionalism. If we get out, if it's all pros, can you imagine if it was all true professionals that are out there building the business? Number one, we're going to grow the industry at large. But number two, people are going to go, wow, you network marketing people are actually pretty cool. Wow. I mean, look, I'll finish with this. I have tons of friends outside of the network marketing business, and they send tons of people, anybody who's got a question about network marketing, looking at analyzing a company, curious about network marketing, like, go talk to Todd. That's our resident professional. And it's fun for me to take those calls and have conversations about what the profession's about and what companies are doing great things. And it's happened many, many times. And I just think that if you're going to do this business, let's do it the professional way. Level it up. Get your people to be dialed in. And that will most certainly change the perception of the masses over time. We got to start with you, then you with your team, and then we can just spread it out. And if we're just doing all pros out there, I think we can make a difference. So, all right, I'm out. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you on the next episode.